Pillars of Eternity continues. Welcome back, everyone, to more Pillars of Eternity. This is video 20. We are over 20 hours into the game at this point. And hey, what is that? Is that Bambi in my party? Oh my God! Bambi's replaced Lug Lug. It's actually not Bambi. That's another addition by the most wonderful Sai, the artist among artists, and a true godsend to this Let's Play. Here is the stag helmet rendition that Sai has done for us. Not just me, all of us. And I think it's probably my favorite so far. Besides the fact that a stag helm is just weird to wear, this is awesome. So, of course, I sent Sai the renders of Lug Lug and the stag helm there, and he has procured us with this amazing portrait. So, once again, Sai, thank you very much, buddy. God bless you. May all the gods bless you.
Yes.
All right, let's continue with our new kick-ass stag helmet. I think it's about time we maybe head to another district. We kind of dried this one out for now. Of course, there are various quests and places that you will visit and revisit throughout this game, just like you would have in any of these old isometric type RPGs, especially the ones in vein of Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. It looks like we go to First Fires. Technically, it is the only other region we can get to right now without going back to the world map. It'll take us 15 minutes to get there. And here we are. Welcome to First Fires, where the ship first went down. We got Crucible Keep here. We got the road to Brackenberry, the Ducal Palace. We can head to Heritage Hill in the northwest. Another entrance to the Temple of Wodika. And Andra's Gift is in the southwest. We definitely will not be joining the Knights, the Crucible Nights. However, I think we can get away with doing one of their quests before we're forced into joining the faction. They're going to let us just waltz right in? Why not? That stag helmet is so sexy. Who wouldn't let Lug Lug in? Oh shit, doors are locked. Never mind. Justicar Aldemar. Alright, Piggy, we're switching you out. Oh, it's this music again. Fantastic. This stuff was tripping me out the other day. Tick tock. Tiny obsidian worm.
Greetings.
Aldemar gives you an appraising eye. Judging by the scars on his face, he's lucky to be able to do that much. Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy of watch, it does. You look like you recently arrived yourself. I have information about this little shit named Eorn. He glances around cautiously, then leads in towards you. Eorn, you said? Well, what became of him? He's hiding down in the catacombs under Copper Lane. He should still be there. He smiles grimly. I see. I'll send a unit down into the catacombs to see him. What do you mean, see him? Was that subtle? I suppose you're new here. Eorn got his little Orland fingers in too many pies, if you ask me. A man of politics and plenty of loud friends. Better all around if he goes nice and quiet, and Eorn gets the end he deserves. I see. Well, I'll be going. You've done the Crucible Nights a real service, tracking him down. Here, something for your troubles. Alright, so we turned the little shit in, got some experience, and got 200 copper out of it. You have all thanks, friend. He nods sharply. We don't forget the favor. Decide Eorn's fate, and we did. It is now an extinct quest. Let's get back to talking to Aldemar. Who are you? A soldier of the Crucible Nights and proud of it. I help keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Cliver can focus on more important matters. What goes on in this shithole? This is the headquarters of the Crucible Nights. It's no shithole. This is where we store arms and armor as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Punk. Commander Cliver's in the back, making plans as usual. He scratches a scarred cheek. You'll find the forge at the west end of the building, along with our master smith, Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the golem, if you're the praying type. Tell me about the Crucible Knights. You sound like a bunch of douchebags. We're the defenders of Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Cliver I said that. He grins. We were the first organized militia to oppose Adirian rule, and today we're the largest force in the city. All soldiers undergo years of combat training, and our officers are required to have their souls read by that critter out in Dunrid Road. What's this about Dunrid Road? Just a requirement of the Crucible Knights, so the higher-ups know there's nothing messy built in your soul's past. Aldemar widens his stance. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me. I just wish they were more careful in hiring their ciphers. Spit it out! He shifts his weight and glances at the empty halls. They're mostly Orlands. I'm sure they're talented enough, but you just can't trust those little boogers. Hostility is in their nature, and they've learned to hide it over the years. He frowns and crosses his arms. All I'm saying is that they should at least be supervised by other folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? Sounds fair enough to me. Exactly, but it seems like you can hardly make a simple statement like that without someone wanting to draw steel over it. Enough talky-talk from you.
What is it?
Oh, who's this douche? I'm gonna go check out this smith. The forge. Whoa, whoa. Oh, easy, sticky fingers. Wait till no one's looking. Oh, man.
I shall.
We got the max, bro. Campfire down in the catacombs still. There's one up here. I don't think anyone can see you, Aloth. You got this.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
If this is about the breastplates, I already told Cleaver they won't be repaired till next week.
Leave it to Cleaver! I'm going to show him the pieces of blade from the Endless Path. I found several fragments of an ancient sword. You think you could repair it? Dunstan gives a low whistle. That's a fine blade indeed. He holds one fragment in his rough hands. Looks Adaran. Special made. Must have been commissioned for a champion of some sort. He hands the shard back to you. A sword of this caliber would have had a specially designed hilt too. It'd be a shame to graft anything else onto it, and besides, it'll balance best with the original pieces. You find the rest of it, and I'll forge it for you. What do you do here?
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Nights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions. The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
Tell me about the Knights!
We were all smiths back in Hodred's day, though I'm about the only one here who still gets his hands dirty. We're a fearsome fighting force, though these days I think Cleaver takes more pride in our parade formations.
That's dumb. He thinks himself a progressive man, but he's obsessed with soul lineages and connections to Deerwood heroes of old. He picks up his hammer again. Other than Dunrid Rowe, who really knows about any of that, though? Okay, I want to buy shit. Really? I can't buy from this guy? Son of a gun. Probably got to be a member. Tongs, hardies, hammers, fullers, and punch tools hang from the wall. They feel heavy and sturdy, but their flame-darkened surfaces testify to frequent use. Tongues of the flame lick at the forge, hissing with smoke as hot as a dragon's breath.
Of course.
The blades are razor sharp. Penhelm. Name is ringing a bell.
Good day to you.
The young novitiate's armor is recently shined, and his hair is clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be his. Are you looking for something? Does the name Osric sound familiar? He sniffs. If you've got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his new friends at Expedition Hall, for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, the lot of them. Says your affidavit's a forgery. Just what would he know about that? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions. With that pedigree in the Knights. He folds his arm. He blinks at you. It's a lie, of course. Is that his breastplate you're wearing? It was. He looks down to admire it. It became property of the Crucible Nights when he was discharged. Now it's mine. And it's not for sale, if that's what you're wondering. Not every day do you find armor that was used in the rebellion. What's the story between you two, dickhead? Osric's always held some controversial opinions, but they went overlooked for the longest time because his family has such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Nights. He frowns and crosses his arms. He finally went too far. He had the gall to suggest that we strayed too far from our roots, that some of the officers were beginning to resemble a dear nobility. He rubs a spot on his bracer with a silk handkerchief. He would have us all wear rough spun and fight with forge hammers. I merely reported his statements. I don't see the problem. He sputters. People change. Organizations change. The Crucible Knights began as a militia of blacksmiths, but Dunstan's one of the only officers who can wield a hammer these days. We're professional soldiers. Isn't that who you want defending the city? Besides, a novitiate has no business maligning his superiors. Enough about Osric. How does someone become a knight? We don't just take anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his weight and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Cleaver is responsible for initiations, but he rarely accepts foreigners. We're the primary defenders of Defiance Bay. The Order's founders were the first to rally Deerwoodian independence. He waves his hand. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now we're the most prestigious company of soldiers in Deerwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches up his nose. If you can forget about the barracks, that is. We need to find this bullshit affidavit.
I shall. The work of a moment. I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment. I'll have it in no time.
Robbing these bitches.
The work of a moment.
Looking for
I'll
the
have it in no
affidavit,
time.
but taking everything in the interim.
The work of a moment.
Thick grime cakes the bottom of the tub. The towel hanging from the side gives off an awful stench. Who went poo-poo in the towel? Let's check our shit. Main keep, still got 1 day, 17 hours.
As you wish.
I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment.
Here we go. Kieran, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Dunard Road, does hereby certify that Novitiate A.M. Penhelm has been found to have a soul free of any subversive influences of tainted essence. The scroll is stamped with the seal of Dunard Row and signed by both Penhelm and Kieran. Oh, this is Penhelm's. Maybe we can put something on him. Penhelm seems to have taken Osric's armor for his own, but I have his affidavit in hand as a possible bargaining chip. Kieran, the cipher who signed off Penhelm's affidavit, works at Hadred House in Brackenbury. Oh, great. We're going to another place.
Hey.
And another time. I think we got some other people close to leveling. I'm just going to wait. The Edict of Arrest. This edict calls for the arrest of Eorn, whose recent actions have led to the death of a knight of the Crucible. It requests reporting any information to Justicar Aldmar. It is signed Commander Cleaver. Yeah, well, we turned that bitch in, so it's all good.
Yes.
We ratted him out. Luglug has gone from mercenary evil to no honor whatsoever evil. This painting shows a row of warriors standing atop the walls of Defiance Bay while Adir's ships sail away. Sail away, sail away.
We just don't have the manpower.
You do now that Luglug's here. What's up, bitches?
Yes? I'll see what I can find. The work of a moment.
Nothing to see here. This edict calls for the rest of Eorn. We already have that shit. What the hell? I need the books, though. All your books belong to us.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Gotta get that reading material.
Yes.
Refugees from every corner of the Deerwood. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll need twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay. Yes? Can I help you with something?
You're in charge of the Crucible Nights? Huh! You're in Defiance Bay anyhow. The High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed at Fleetbreaker Castle. Fleetbreaker. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and keep order for the Duke. Is there something else I can do for you? Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleetbreaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates and more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Hailmar. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
Some good stuff here. Quit being dramatic. You chose this career. A scowl darkens his expression. It's more than just a career, and I've never regretted it for a second. My calling is to defend this city and everyone in it, even swaggering ingrates like you. He takes a step closer while his officers look on silently. And if you dragged yourself all the way over here just to blow hot air out your fat Amuria ass, then you've got time to do something constructive. That's true, I do. Forge Master Dunstan's working on an animancy scholar, to build what we're calling Forge Knights. Warriors that control our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience, or fear. Some agitator throws a rock at him. We don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armor, but we need the scholar's research. Unfortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my novitiates have checked. Vienna lives with the rest of the Scriveners out in Copper Lane, but I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to the Scrivener's dormitory and see if you can find that bitch. When you get the research, just bring it to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise anyways. Once you've brought him the research, he can sell you any arms or armor you have need for. He forges and repairs all our shit. You won't find a more capable smith in Defiance Bay. Tell me about the Knights. He crosses his hands behind his back. We're the only professional army in Defiance Bay, or in the Deerwood for that matter. We defended the cities in Hadrit's Day. We're improving our training since then, but Dunrid Rowe can certify that many of our officers come from the good Derwoodian fighting stock. Now we're responsible for patrolling this city and keeping peace. With so many refugees pouring in from the countryside, that's become more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the dozens and some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. Enterprising families? House Domino, namely. They're one of the city's oldest noble families and the largest criminal organization. Their patriarch Gedmar has been trying to take advantage of the turmoil to expand his operations. Sounds like I'll like him. We've kept on top of him, and he hasn't been too happy about that. What's up with those dozen douchebags? What do they have against you? Those demagogues and troublemakers. They forget Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world and not some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries on a good day and street thugs the rest of the time. Needless to say, they've no patience for law and order. I see.
Well?
Already got a quest to go back to Copper Lane. Leveling off that bullshit. This is the symbol of Abaddon. Colossal smithing hammer and pose over a circular gear. Damn it, you changed my page. It's smooth and bright with buffing oils. I'm guessing that's Abaddon?
Yes.
How you suckers doing on XP? So close.
Yes.
The Justicier's gaze flicks over to you briefly before returning to the novitiates gathered in the training area. If this is about patrols, my novitiates are already stretched to the limit. Between the refugee influx and that mess at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have any units to spare. After a pause, she looks you over. I'm sorry, was there something you needed? What's wrong in Heritage Hill? She lowers her voice. What isn't wrong is the real question in that shithole. The whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there, and yet this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There's already enough rumors about the place floating around the keep without my soldiers whispering about these disappearances. She shakes her head. I'd just as soon abandon the district, but if those monsters should find a way out... I could look into it! After what I just told you, you want to go to Heritage Hill? I've lost trained soldiers there. Why should I let anyone in? Your trained knights have nothing on me! If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. She quietly looks on at the novitiates. And if you're somehow able to put a stop to this, you've got my permission to enter Heritage Hill. I'll send word to the guards at the gate. Tell me about that shithole! Used to be one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay, but a few months ago, the residents all went mad, started eating each other, and anything else that had bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now every novitiate that stands guard there, everyone that comes back anyway, talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of unspeakable horrors. She holds up one plate-clad finger. The why and the how are questions for the animancers. I've sealed the district in hopes of containing whatever happened there. It seems to be working, for now. What do you do here? I'm in charge of the keep's novitiates. I'm responsible for their training and patrol assignments. She nods at the group gathered in the training room. They're good soldiers, and they've been quick to adapt to new challenges. Kill zombies. Sounds like a fun time. Alright, we got the Ducal Palace, Heritage Hill, the Haunted Heritage Hill.
Politics, infighting.
Well met, friend.
The young woman wears a simple but well-tailored uniform. She watches the comings and goings around her with quiet attention. Any news to share? Or are you just here to see the Ducal Palace? What's the Ducal Palace? It's the seat of government here in Defiance Bay. This is where Duke Admeth Hadred declared freedom against Adirian rule some 150 years ago. She lowers her voice and grins. It's also a hotbed of regional politics. Trust me, the gossip here beats what you'll find at any tavern or brothel in the city. Ah, Deerwood politics. It changes too quickly to be worth keeping up with. Better to strike up conversation in taverns than try to loiter inconspicuously in the palace corridors. Looking for news? Who are you? I'm a page here at the palace. I deliver messages and run errands for the Duke and his advisors. The pay's not great, but I can think of a better introduction to politics. What goes on here? She laughs. Where to start? We've got meetings, public hearings, ceremonies, and that's just the stuff that happens out in the open. She leans a little closer. This is where the Duke and his key advisors work, so there's always some bartering for a favor. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to talk about that side of shit. But if you want the official version, she clears her throat, and gestures counterclockwise around the palace. We have a shrine devoted to Magrin, official records, and chambers for public hearings and council meetings. Tell me about this shrine of Magrin. It's a symbol of Magrin's protection of Defiance Bay. She's represented the revolutionary spirit of Deerwood ever since independence, and her involvement in creating the Godhammer bomb only affirmed her importance to us. Magrin's a she? Oh, my bad. It's also where the first of the sacred fires burns. But Firgra, the tranquil ardent, has had trouble in keeping them lit. What kind of records are stored here? You got Michael Jackson's Thriller? Huh? Mostly dull, official stuff. Census counts, tax records, militia registers. Militia. Now I keep my distance. I got curious one day and got drafted into reshelving half the records. Worst day of my life. Is there a hearing going on right now? Sure is. Duke Ivar has been meeting with some of the city leaders for weeks now, trying to figure out how to address the legacy. The whole business is terribly secret, though. I tried to sit in the gallery during my lunch break one day and got turned away. But a lot of talk concerns animancy, so there's good reason why they're keeping the meetings behind closed door. The legacy? Waidwin's legacy. That's what a lot of people call the Rash of Hollowborn. The theory goes that it's punishment for meddling in animancy. Why is animancy so controversial? Where to begin? Traditionalists think it's a crime against gods. There's no question that poking around in souls is risky, but the more progressive elements believe it's our only shot at restoring healthy births. And it doesn't help matters that animancy research often involved old Anglithian relics that were illegally looted from the ruins of Ir Glanfath. She makes a quick twitching motion with her index finger and middle fingers. What are Hollowborn again? I've only been told 27 times. She raises an eyebrow. You really are fresh from the road. Hollowborn are children born without souls. They often don't live very long, and those that do generally receive some kind of treatment from the animancers. What do you think about the animancy? Me? I think the real danger of animancy is confusing a real scholar with an expensive fake. We get a new case here every day. Some poor couple in the Gift or Copper Lane who spent every copper they had on a miracle cure for their unborn child. It never works. She shakes her head. Breaks your heart. But there's usually nothing we can do for them. Tell me about the current Dookie. That would be Eivir Wolfgren. Don't let the title fool you, though. Our dukes have been elected since independence. Some find Duke Eivir rather coarse. He's a frontier noble. Personally, I think a rough and tumble type is just what the Defiance Bay needs. Cool story! The Ducal Palace. Ducal. Let's rob the place. Let's rob the place blind. Don't think we're going that way. Don't think we need to go that way.
Aye?
Don't think you're getting in that chest, Aloth.
As you wish.
Yes?
Guy's got his back turned. Probably going to get in trouble for stealing these books. Reputation, it looks like. I don't think we really give a shit. I'm not trying to have good reputation here, really.
Hail, traveler.
Firga. Firegra. Firga? Yeah, Firga. The woman's head is bowed and her lips move in prayer. Just as you approach, you catch a glimpsing at the statue near her. She notices you and forces a smile. Praise be to Magdalene, and welcome to her temple. How may I be of service?
You seem upset. What's wrong?
Her shoulders slump. This is about the fighters, isn't it? She puts a hand on your shoulder. They're just symbols. You can't put your faith in them.
Only symbols? Is that why you're so distressed?
No, She sighs with a hiss, like a release of steam. I've kept them burning steadily for 15 years, but I haven't been able to conjure them for months now, and people need to see them more than ever these days.
So go light them again. I see plenty of flamers up in here.
They don't work that way. They're holy fires. It's my devotions and prayers that keep them lit, but lately when I try to pray, all I can think about are the hollowborn all over the city, the grieving families, the refugees. She shakes her head. How could Magdalene allow us to suffer like this? What strength do we gain from a soulless child?
Durance grunts with disdain. What strength do we gain from adversity? For trial and test. The fires don't wither because she lacks in faith. They wither because she does not understand how to be faithful to a whore. A whore wants neither praise nor devotion. A whore wants to be compensated for her services. And Magdalene is paid in pleasure and sweat and struggle and pain. This mewling imbecile is unworthy of Magdalene's womanly heat. And this is shaking your faith?
She nods, running her hands through her hair. But I believe Magdalene may be speaking to me again. She frowns and casts a quick glance in your direction. Lately I've been seeing visions. A place in the wilderness with pools filled with sunbursts of color. Strange falls that seem to rise to the heavens even while they splash into the earth. She raises her hands as if framing an image of her vision. And behind the falls is a cave, filled with fire and heat and danger, and some token of my goodness. I know there's something there, but where it is or how I get there. She shakes her head. I've been meaning to ask around at Expedition Hall to see if anyone recognizes the description. To be honest, though, I don't know what I'd even do if I found the place.
Worthless like so many Magdalene's flock, afraid of a god's test. If Magdalene speaks to her, it's to hasten an end to a hypocrite's life. And this vision is surely a death trap for the weak. I'd like to know more about the temple here.
Magdalene's most revered goddess among the Derudians, so it's no surprise that her temple is part of the Ducal Palace. Her fire symbolized trials, revolutions, and the blazing of new paths, all of which are important to us. This is the first of sacred pyres. When this is lit, so are the rest around the city.
What's the significance of sacred pyres?
They symbolize Magdalene's power and guidance, and right now the people of Defiance Bay need to be assured of her presence. She crosses her arms, staring at the statue. Our neighbors in Valiant Republic see us as superstitious, but we're just sensitive to the signs and warnings of gods.
Man, I got Sidequest out the fucking wazoo. Searing Falls. Traveled to the cave of Firga's vision. She had a vision of a cave with multicolored pools and a rising waterfall. She believes that something there would restore her faith, but she also believes something else there would kill her. If I were to find this item for her, she might be able to resume her duties and resurrect the sacred fires of Defiance Bay. Firga didn't know where to find the place she saw in her vision, but someone at Expedition Hall might know. I found a map pinpointing the location of a place called Searing Falls. It's a long journey, but at least I know where it is now. We should probably speak with the record keeper before we leave as well.
Welcome.
A taciturn man with graying hair pores over a tome he's just withdrawn from one of the shelves. He glances up with baggy eyes.
Yes, is there something I can pull for you? I'm looking for the militia records from the time of the Saints' War, trying to find out what happened to someone.
The man clears his throat. We've had a number of inquiries about such information. I'm afraid we've had to bar access to the public. Seems there's still quite a number of folk in Deerwood who bear ill will toward the how do you say that again? Red Syrians?
It would be irresponsible to surrender their names just to anyone. Many came to settle here as refugees. Perhaps if you were more established in Defiance Bay, things would be different. But I have no reason to suspect you to be any different from the others.
I take what I want!
The record keeper frowns. In the Duke's palace, I can assure you that you do not. Besides, without my assistance, you'd be sifting through scrolls for years.
Please! We've come a long way!
I just need to find out about my brother. I don't even know what side he fought for. You must understand, I've heard many stories. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you.
I take what I want! Please! Fuck you then!
Eder believes he may be able to find out more about the circumstance of his brother's death in Defiance Bay. Suggests there might be records of the Saints' War in the archive in Ducal Palace. The records keeper is unwilling to show us records, citing concerns about the vengeful Deerwoodians hunting down Red Syrian refugees. He said things might be different were my reputation in the city stronger. Ew. Well, I probably shouldn't steal then. Alright, went ahead and reloaded without taking those books. Not sure how important it is to do this quest, but it's for our buddy Eder, so I think we do need to get our reputation up in Defiance Bay and before we smash it into the ground. We're known as a troublemaker here, but we're a champion in Gilded Vale. Hopefully there's an alternative, because I shouldn't be forced to be good to complete a party member's quest anyways. I can see not being able to do certain quests, but
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
I'll have to consult my Encyclopedia Satan, Mr. Satan Encyclopedia. Alright, we're going to head to the Valiant Embassy. Vincent Agosti.
Good day, stranger.
What can this humble servant of the Republics do for you?
Tell me about the Valiant Republics.
They're all rich in all ways, in wealth and style and culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I'm here because the Sangreta del Cala wishes it. But when my appointment is done, I will be on the first ship out, and I will sing from here to Salona. If there's nothing else, I must return to my dookie.
What do you do here, besides look like a pussy?
As the Valiant ambassador, my job is to ensure trade with the Deerwood remains strong and profitable.
Cool story, bye!
Yes?
Aloth, steal! 3 of my 26? Better be something good in there.
The work of a moment.
Obsidian lamp figurine? You fool, son. The flag depicts a symbol of the Valiant Republics, a ship sailing beneath 5 radiant stars. Spread across the table are the blueprints of an in-progress trade deal between merchant company from the Republics and the Deerwoodian Rye Wool Collective.
Game order. Why you always make me be in the games with lots of reading? You know I can't read.
The work of a moment.
We're all getting experience. Everyone but Ronstock has their level, which makes me fucking happy. The postings show current prices of the range of commodities, and they track running exchange rate for the Valiant Luce.
I'll see what I can find.
Check out this figurine. Oh, we got this Wodika hood too, which is pretty sick. There you go, priest. Hermit's hat. Oh yes, +2 intellect. We like that. How's my keep doing? I never rest, so I'm too damn good at this game. Easy enough. Greater Frenzy. Cultivates the barbarian's inner rage, granting additional bonuses while under the effects of frenzy. I feel like this is a no-brainer. You have to have this. Frenzy better. A bonus knockdown. Grants the fighter an additional use of knockdown. Boosts the fighter's hardiness, increasing the rate of his or her constant recovery. Is that only outside of battle, though? Hold the line, +1 enemies engaged. Superior deflection, +5 deflection. Weapon and shield style. Equipped shields deflection bonus are increased and grant an equal bonus to the character's reflex. Yeah, duh. Definitely need that. I'll also get a second wind. I'm going to save the other points so I can pump up some mechanics. Feel like you have to get level 3 shit. Creates a ball energy. We can get the arduous delay of motion and deleterious alacrity of motion. But we only get one spell. Offense. Bonus spells. With the power of a fledgling slifer, the character is able to temporarily charm an opponent. Characters attune themselves to the natural world like a druid and is able to focus its power on an enemy with the effects of a nature-marked spell. Nuanced faith in the gods has allowed this character to unleash a wave of spiritual energy similar to a priest's holy radiance. It's also like a heal.
Superior deflection. I feel like that would definitely be good to any of them. Plus 20 of the hits converted to crits are against targets with low endurance. Get a plus 0.5 to crit damage multiplier against targets with low endurance. All attacks at enemies with low endurance convert some hits to crits, and those crits do additional damage. That seems like something I should get from my fighters eventually. I feel like getting Arcane Veil is a no-brainer as well for both my wizards. Ronstock already has it. Condemns the priest's foes, dazing any enemies in the area of effect. The faithful of Magrin gain an accuracy bonus with sword and arquebus, and can cast a special version of Burst of Summer Flame. Everyone receives less healing from the priest's holy radiance, but priest gains bonus to all kinds of attributes. No, not a big fan of that. This dazes him. We could put that to use. And last but not least, our Chanter. All kinds of new chants here. We get one. At the sound of his voice, the killers froze stiff. It's a paralyzing spell. Gurnisk slew the beast, but soon faced its kin. Conjures 3 worms into existence to fight for the party. So those would replace our skeletons. My son, do you see your sisters across the moor? Amasses stray soul fragments to form 2 will-o-wisps and fight for the party. Rainy Daret's ghost spake. I'll catch you, Ben feed. What the fuck causes... basically does terror. Shatter their shackles, cast off their chains, decreases the duration and defends against hobbled, stuck, paralyzed, and petrified. Effects for allies. Might want that eventually. The lover cried out to the beloved, I am yours. Stirs something deep inside enemies in the area of effect, charming them. Rejoice, my comrades, 2 fingers of daylight. The Chanter creates 2 bouncing beams of pure light that restore endurance and grant immunity to frightened and terrified, and all allies struck. Yeah, I can dig that. Keep us up. No one's faith in the gods allowed this character to unleash a wave of spiritual energy similar to the priest's holy radiance. Plus 20 reload speed, plus 5 accuracy against... yeah. We want Marksman and Goner, I think. Let's take a Marksman. I guess. Why not?
Strange place for a shrine to Abaddon. Crucible Keep.
Abaddon.
Maybe it made more sense at some point before it gathered all that dust. The only thing the Knights of the Crucible worship these days is the nobility, as far as I understand it.
I knew some soldiers who got recruited by the Knights after the war was over. They told me some about it. They get these young kids in there and they tell them about blacksmithing and about the revolution and about tradition. Talk about the golem like he created the Crucible Nights in his forge to go with the Deerwood Independence. Then they join. Turns out all those knights ever talk about is when you're going to get recognized as a real knighthood. When are we going to get getting our titles in our land? Their High Justice wants to be an earl. Says it's Abaddon's will. He's got a castle and an army. I wonder how long he'll wait before he starts war over it. Saying Abaddon told him to.
For all we know, maybe Abaddon is telling him to.
Wouldn't be the first time a god inspired his followers to make a mess of things. Makes you wonder if we'd all be better off not listening to them.
What is it?
Alright, I think we're done here for now. Head back to Copper Lane and go to the Scriveners, whatever, and see if we can talk to Hobag. Only takes 15 minutes, you know. Find Vienna sausage.
Good day to you.
I'm looking for Vienna. Vienna Humpalot.
I like Vienna. She's always talking about metal men, which is strange since I'm pretty sure she doesn't eat a snow cap. His brows wrinkle. I don't talk about metal men either. And I do eat snow cap. Huh. Anyway, she's not here right now. Flew away on to Andra's gift to meet her Bessia, her friend Bessia. No, Clesia. Yes, Clesia. Clesia is the friend she's gone to meet. And Andra's gift. And a house. Not a boat. North house. Empty house. Andra's gift has a lot of boats. We should go rowing sometime.
This guy's high on something.
Alright, we have our next lead.
Have you ever chased you merely hide behind?
Don't pawn your personal problems off on me.
They will use you, cast you off when it suits them. Never speak another word to you.
Maybe they just don't answer to fiery whore.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
I know the drill, shut up! Anyways, that wraps it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time with more Pillars of Eternity.